All right, what's good, people? This your boy One Hustler 88, which is formerly known as Mike P 1981. And today I want to give you some news on violent video games and how certain governments and the media and certain media outlets would do anything to just blame a particular culture. The easiest target, the most easiest way to infiltrate a certain culture that has violence is video games. The media outlets and certain governments that look at video games, they would say it has a realistic feel. It has this realistic value of video games to the point where it brings out a realism within the game. However, you know, when it comes to violent video games has that sensation of competition. When you play a video game, personally, it does bring aggression when it comes to video games, but at the end of the day, it's a competition. In terms of competition, when you play a video games, it doesn't mean you're violent. Um, it doesn't bring violence. It doesn't convey violence. Um, the only thing that brings aggression is through emotion. Personally, through competition, whenever you lose a game, whenever you compete against your friends on Xbox Live or your PSN, it's a competition. Whenever you lose, you get frustrated. But at the end of the day, you don't go out and kill that person that won the game. You just feel frustrated at the end of the day. Or are you playing Call of Duty? But this guy, which his name is Lamar Alexander, he basically said in the video, an interviewer had asked him about video games. Well, let me read this article for a minute. I'm going to post a link at the bottom of the description so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Chuck Todd said, "Can you envision a way of supporting the universal background check bill?" So they trying to figure out, okay, how we're going to pass this bill by, protecting society, protecting citizens. What he said, which he is a senator, so he's a Republican. A Republican is a person that's very that's conservative, which is very strict with the laws and very strict with society, very strict by upholding what is truth, what is just. I'm going to read this. It says, "Shuck, I'm going to wait and see on all these bills." So they basically debating on whether or not they should ban violent video games. I think video games is sick a bigger problem than guns because video games affect people. But the First Amendment limits what we can do about video games, and the Second Amendment to the Constitutions limit what we can do about guns. Even though you, even though, like, if you ban guns in society or ban video games, that doesn't necessarily mean that the violence is going to stop. Even though you take guns away, even though you take violent video games away from society, violence will exist. There's going to be certain ways that a criminal would go out and buy illegal guns from someone that's not licensed by anybody. I personally don't believe that you should own a gun, but guns are used to protect people, protect from criminals. And I believe that you should have a gun just in case something happened, or a weapon, something that happens. But you know, people are just finding answers to certain situation that comes around society. They trying to find answers to different paradigms, different logic. Certain people that believe in the media, they don't think logically. They only think in mediocrity of what the media would say. But I'm gonna read a little bit of this article here. Let's see. Video games affect people, of course. It's not actually an argument. Monet paintings affect people. Long awaits at DMV affect people. If there is anything that diminished my worries about whether or not Alexander would seriously consider the prospect of beefing up the background checks. Let's see. Wow. So basically, ever since the Sandy Elementary School that took place last year, the shooting that took place, Adam Sandler was a very smart kid, but he did it out of anger. I think he did it out of anger. I know he had an autistic disorder. I mean, he had a autism, which basically he couldn't function himself concerning his mind. You know, his mind couldn't function. He had a mental disorder. But this article, it just goes into depth of what I'm saying here, and they trying to pass a law on violent video games. Adam Sandler actually did an interview. He had an interview on Fox News. I was on YouTube and I looked it up. I went on YouTube and actually I subscribed to Rev. I forgot the name of the YouTube channel, but basically I subscribed to that channel and they had something about Adam Sandler. It was a description, a post that said that Adam Sandler will be on live about the interview on violent video games, and he did it. Pretty much did a very good, brought out a very good point, conveyed a very good point concerning violent video games, where violence had exists way before video games that exist, and this is logically true. Even before music, hip hop, culture, rock music. I mean, all types of music, all types of video games that exist. Violence had exists, mafia, even the mafia had exists, even before video games. Osama bin Laden, all these guys, they had the mind of committing crimes even before video games that exist. But I'm gonna post a link at the bottom of the description so you can actually see what I'm talking about. There's a video, as you can see on the screen right now. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. I have some more info that's been out. So tell me what you think about this video. Tell me your thoughts on violent video games, and I'm gonna bring out some more video game, real talk on video games. This channel is basically about video games, nothing else. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I read an article that said that even though you put a label, a sticker on a particular game, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stop the violence. Violence will exist even before, even if you ban video games, even if you ban video games, violence would exist. So, send me what you think about this video, and I'm out. Peace.